Okay, so in this demonstration, I'm going to show you how I created these two eucalyptus branches. This one is a true blue eucalyptus. It's similar to a baby blue with these stacking leaves. And this other one is a classic silver dollar eucalyptus branch. I'm going to start with the silver dollar. I did do one before and I'm going to use it as a guide. I'm going to make the curve slightly different, and also I'm going to try to put more contrast between the leaves. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw an outline of the stem. I'm not going to try drawing the leaves, I'm just going to draw this in pencil and use it as my guide so that I know where to put the leaves. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to mix my green. And for this I'm using a hooker's green and a Dioxazine Purple. This will give a really nice sort of greyish green that's good for these kinds of leaves. So I'm getting quite a lot of watery paint on my brush, and I'm holding my brush at the end and I'm just kind of drawing in the leaf and not being too precise about what I'm doing, because I want the leaf to feel natural. Okay, so I'm just adding in 3 leaves there in front of the stem and just a few more off to the side. A smaller one at the top. Okay, and some other ones down the stem. Now what I'm doing is I'm getting my brown, which is a burnt sienna and burnt umber with a bit of the green in, and I'm just drawing in the stem using a thin brush, and I'm not making the line too straight. I want it to look natural, and I'm not worrying if the brown goes into the leaves. So I'm adding in here a smaller stem for a leaf, and I'm just going to draw this one in as if it's behind the one in front, and the one in front is dry now, so I don't need to worry about that paint bleeding into the leaf behind. Okay, so I'm just going to add in more leaves. I'm not worrying at the moment about the tones of the green, so they're all really roughly the same tone at the moment, but I'll be changing that later. Okay, now I'm leaving this to dry, and I think here I didn't record the beginning part, but what I'm doing is I'm just now adding a darker tone to some of the leaves, and what I'm also doing is leaving a line through the middle so that it looks like that central vein that you get through leaves, just to add in a bit more detail there. Okay, so I'm doing the same here, but I'm not making it as dark. I'm adding the detail in the middle, but making the tone a bit lighter. This one I'm going to do it a bit darker. Okay, now I'm adding in a few more leaves behind the leaves at the front, now that the whole thing is dried. And one more at the top there, but I'm going to make that one look like it's in front. Okay, and here what I'm doing is I'm adding more darker tone to the bottom of the leaf. Making this one a bit more darker, and this one darker still. I'm waiting before I add extra layers of paint. I'm waiting for the paint underneath to dry. Mixing up more paint. Okay, so this is looking kind of finished now, and I'm happy with that. But I just want to add a little bit of brown ochre to the leaves, just to make it look a bit more interesting and natural. So that's what I'm doing there. I'm just dabbing in a bit of brown ochre into the wet paint. Okay, and that one's finished. Okay, so the next one is the True Blue Eucalyptus. This one I did earlier, and I like the way this one looks, and I was happy with this other one I did too. I'm going to use these as references. I want the colour somewhere in between the two. The one on the left is a bit too grey, and the one on the right is a bit too green. So I'm going to start off the same way I did with the other one, and I'm going to draw in the stem in pencil. Okay, so as you can see on the left, my paints have kind of magically appeared because I didn't film that bit, but for this one I'm going to use cobalt blue and cadmium yellow. So what I've done is I've just mixed a few different versions of this colour. This one here has a bit more cobalt blue in. And also what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I really mix it really well, because on one of my previous paintings I didn't mix it well enough, and the colour kind of separated in the leaves in a way that I didn't really like. So that's what I'm doing there. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm just drawing the leaves in these kind of disc shapes in front of the pencil stem, and I'm trying to be quite loose about it, just different sizes, and stacking them up. Now, I was filming this in natural light, and I think the clouds came out, so the colour does change a bit here. But I'm so lucky to have all this natural light in my studio, so I just have to go with it really. So there I'm just carrying on with these leaves, stacking them all the way up to the top and varying the sizes, especially at the top where the leaves tend to get smaller. And now I'm just going to add that stem. Again, I'm using my thin brush, and I'm going to try and be quite loose about it, not make the line too straight. There we go, all the way up. Okay, so I have let that to dry for a bit now, and I want to add some more layers to add a bit more tonal variation, mixing up more paint. And as you can see, I'm really mixing it together well, because I don't want to have this kind of separation that I had on my other leaf. So I'm going to vary the darkness of these leaves, and I'm also going to use this as a chance to give the impression of kind of folded leaves. So for example, on this next one, I'm just going to add like an edge in there, so it looks like the leaf is sort of folded up. I'm going to do a similar thing on some of these other ones. This one I'm just making the whole thing darker, and this one I'm going to add an edge. Okay, so I'm just going to turn the music up now for this last part of the painting, but all I'm doing is I'm just adding more of the green to make some parts of the painting darker, and this is just a balance really. I want the contrast to be enough to be interesting, but I don't want it to be too much. So you just need to practice this really and see what you think. Okay, so there you have it. It's finished now, and I'm happy with it. So there you go, I've got my two paintings. The True Blue Eucalyptus and the Silver Dollar. Okay, so I didn't film the one on the far right, but I've just put these three together because I think these kinds of paintings can look nice in threes. Here the ones on either end are maybe a bit too similar, so you could find a different type of eucalyptus leaves. There's so many different types, and you could do three of them and then frame them and put them up on your wall as a display. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you liked it, please hit the like button, and if you want to see similar videos in the future, then please subscribe to my channel. It makes a big difference. Okay, thank you, bye.